Hello students, good morning. Welcome you all to a new video of Sunanda's tutorial. Today we will discuss about the general life cycle of Bryophyte, the alternation of generation in life cycle. In my previous video, I have already discussed about the general characteristic feature of this Bryophyte plant. So let us discuss. The life cycle of bryophytes consists of two phases. One is gametophytic phase, one is sporophytic phase. The gametophytic phase is meant for producing the sex organs and finally the gametes which are haploid in nature. And the sporophytic phase on the other hand producing the spores. The spores germinate and produce again the gametophytic plant. So the overall life cycle is gametophyte. It will produce two types of gametes, that is male gamete and female gamete. They fuse to form zygote. Zygote produce sporogonium. It is a specialized sporophytic structure. This sporogonium have food seta and capsule. Inside the capsule, spores are formed. These spores germinate to form again the gametophytic plant. So the overall life cycle is this. The gametophytic phase is the most conspicuous and dominant phase of the life cycle. It is green as they have chloroplast, long-lived and freely branching and independent. The gametophytic phase of the life cycle is independent, but the sporophytic phase of the life cycle is dependent on the gametophytic plant for their nutrition, and they also live on the gametophytic plant. They grow on the gametophytic plant. The gametophyte of bryophyte is mainly the land dwellers. They grow on the land, but some are strictly aquatic. For example, Riccia fluitans, Riella, Riciocarpus. Generally, they are small and inconspicuous, grow prostrately on the ground. They attach on the substratum with the help of rhizoids, unicellular hair-like rhizoids. Some higher groups of bryophytes, that is moss bryophyte, have leafy thallus. They have leaf-like structure, they have stem-like structure, and they have multicellular rhizoids. So these type of structures are found in some advanced class of bryophyte. But in lower groups, the body is thallus, generally thallus. They lack any leaf-like structure or stem-like structure. The stem, leaves and rhizoids like structure are present only in the higher groups of bryophytes. And this gametophytic structure or gametophytic phase, gametophytic plant or main plant body of bryophyte consists of male reproductive part and female reproductive part, and it is concerned with the production of male gamete and female gamete and sexual reproduction. The whole reproduction of bryophyte is oogamous type, that is male gametes are motile and small and female gametes are large with non-motile. So the bryophyte have multicellular jacketed sex organ. Jacketed sex organ means a jacket cell is present on around the sex organs of bryophytes. That means they have a protective sterile cell surrounding their gametes. Male sex organ is called antheridium and female sex organ is called archegonium. The both sex organs are born on the gametophytic plant of the bryophyte. It is the antheridium or male reproductive part. Antheridium is multicellular object, ellipsoidal or globe shaped. They born on the stalk attached to the gametophytic plant. That means it born on the gametophytic plant. Then this antheridium has wall of single layered sterile tissue. It is a single layered sterile tissue. Then it surround a mass of cell called androcytes. So these are androcytes. So this androcytes, from these androcytes, these biflagellate sperms are produced. biflagellate sperms are produced from these androcytes. So from these androcytes, biflagellated sperms will be produced. And it is the male gamete, the actual male gamete with haploid in nature. So the male reproductive part of bryophyte is called as antheridium, and it produces the male gamete known as androcyte or sperm. Next, archegonium. Archegonium is the female sex organ, and it have this flask shaped organ. It is a flask like structure like this. They have neck canal cell, ventral canal cell, and egg. Basically it have a long neck and a basal venter. Inside that venter one egg cell is present, and it is a long neck. Neck canal cells surrounding the neck, and ventral canal cell present just upper to the egg cell. It is the basic structure of your archegonium of bryophytes. Next, fertilization. During fertilization, moisture is very essential for the maturing of sex organ. Also movement of sperm to the archegonia. See, the bryophytes, so oogamous type of reproduction. What is oogamous type of reproduction? In case of oogamous type, the male gametes are motile and small, and female gametes are non-motile and large. The male gamete have to move to the egg cell for the fertilization as they are motile. So the mature antheridium ruptures and liberates sperms. After maturity, it releases the sperm. At the time of axial row of neck canal cell, this neck canal cell, including ventral canal cell, disorganize because the sperm have to move through this. So this neck canal cell as well as ventral canal cell have to disorganize or have to degrade to facilitate the movement of the sperm. Then the tip of archegonium also opens. Narrow canal opening to exterior formed act as a passageway to ovum in the interior venter. The liberated sperm swim in a thin film of water and reach the archegonia. Next, they enter through open neck of the archegonia. That means these are sperms. It is the archegonia. These sperms are male gamete. Inside this archegonia, egg cell is present, which is the female gamete. This male gamete swims into the swims to the female gamete. Here they reach and fertilize or fused with each other to form the zygote, which is diploid. That is, male gamete formed inside the antheridium. Antheridium release this sperm after maturity. They swims into the archegonia where they fuse with the egg cell. This is haploid. This female gamete is also haploid. Togetherly they produce zygote, which is diploid in nature. After the formation of zygote, it will divide and redivide to form the embryo. After embryo, sporogonium is formed, which is the main sporophytic structure. That sporogonium consists of food, seta and capsule. Inside the capsule, spores will be found, and spores liberate after maturity and germinate to produce again a gametophytic plant. So let us discuss in details. After the fusion with fertilization or fusion, second phase of the life cycle starts. That is the sporophytic phase. It is called sporophyte. The pioneer structure of this phase is the zygote, is the first diploid structure. The fertilized egg or ovum secretes cellulose wall around it and called zygote. This zygote is the first structure of sporophyte. Then embryo with venter of the embryo. See, the fusion occur inside the venter of the archegonium. Here the zygote formed. The venter of the archegonium, zygote undergo segmentation. Here it is the zygote. They undergo segmentation and develop without resting period into multicellular undifferentiated called embryo. So this zygote divide to form embryo. So zygote is the first or pioneer structure of sporophytic phase, then the embryo. Then the sporogonium. Embryo by further segmentation and differentiation form the sporogonium. Sporogonium is leafless, rootless and dependent on the gametophytic plant. Generally it has a limited time span and generally it have three parts. One is foot, middle part sitta and capsule. So it is a structure like this, generally attached to the gametophytic plant foot. It has a basal part called foot, middle part called sitta and a large or long capsule. Inside this capsule, spore mother cells, which is 2N, diploid in nature, are formed. This spore mother cell undergo meiosis to form haploid spores. These spores releases and on germination produce gametophytic phase again. The spores of bryophytes are highly specialized. They are differentiated from diploid spore mother cell by meiosis. They are the haploid structure and known as meiospore or gonospore. The spore mother cell which is formed inside this capsule are diploid. They undergo meiosis to form haploid spores or meiospore or gonospore. They are homosporous. Bryophytes are homosporous. Homosporous means they produce all the spores of similar kind, or they are morphologically, physiologically all kind of similar spores. But in case of pteridophytes, some pteridophytes will produce heterospory. They show heterospory or they are heterosporous. That means produce two types of spores which are physiologically differentiated, they are morphologically different, etc. But pteridophytes are homosporous in nature. Each spore under suitable condition gives rise to main gametophytic plant. So it is the overall about the gametophytic and sporophytic phase of the life cycle. Now the alternation of generation. This phase alternate with each other. First gametophytic starts, it ends with the formation of zygote. Then the first structure of sporophytic phase is the zygote. Zygote undergo division and redivision to form embryo, then sporogonium. Inside that sporogonium capsule, spores are formed. Spores germinate to form again the gametophytic plant. So in this way they alternate their life cycle. It is the diagrammatic representation of this life cycle of bryophytes. It is the general life cycle, but specific are there. For Riccia there is separate life cycle, but the basic method is that, the basic process is that. So here the bryophyte, main bryophyte gametophyte, it will produce male and female sex organ, that is antheridium and archegonium. Antheridium produce a haploid antherozoids or sperms, and female part produces egg. They undergo fertilization or syngamy, that is fusion, to produce a diploid zygote. Then zygote undergo division and redivision to form a embryo. Then sporogonium formed. Inside the sporogonium capsule, spore mother cells, diploid spore mother cells formed. They undergo meiosis to form spores. Spores on germination produce protonema. Protonema is the immature gametophyte. First protonema formed, then mature gametophytic plant formed. This protonema after division formed a mature bryophyte. But it is all about the sexual reproduction. Vegetative reproduction is also there. That means vegetatively it can also reproduce by gamma formation. We will discuss this later on. So for now, I have finished about the life cycle, general life cycle of bryophyte. I hope you have enjoyed this. Subscribe my channel for getting this type of videos related to various competitive exams related to biology and for your BSc and MSc semester exams. So stay tuned and enjoy my videos like this. Thank you.